Very warm, pleasant greetings for the day. Still a time to say a refreshing good morning. We welcome you to the second technical session of the 26th National Convention on Knowledge, Library, and Information Networking, NACLIN 2023, being organized by Delnet in collaboration with Goa University. Profound privilege and honor in welcoming you to technical session 2, which is on digital resources, open access, and institutional repositories. The chair is Dr. Sandesh B. Dessai, the University Librarian, Goa University, and yes, the co-organizing secretary of NACLIN 2023. Profound privilege and honor in welcoming you and in requesting you, Dr. Sandesh, to kindly take your position on the dais, requesting each one of you, please join your hands together in welcoming Dr. Sandesh. It's a profound privilege and honor to have with us today our very distinguished, eminent speaker, Dr. K. Rama Patnaik ji, the librarian at Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, who is a keynote speaker for the session and going to share with you her vast expertise on the subject on e-resource management in the libraries. May I have a pleasure of requesting you, ma'am, to kindly come on the dais, requesting each one of you, please join your hands together and give a very special welcome to our most distinguished speaker of technical session 2. Thank you very much for coming all the way, ma'am, from Bangalore and to be there, sparing time for us. Thank you so very much indeed. I have a pleasure now in requesting our paper presenters of the technical session 2. The papers have already been published in the pre-conference proceedings, and I would just like to confirm and request also at the same time the contributors of first paper, Mrs. Srinija Bathina Patla, Dr. M. Doraswamy, I can very well see he's there, and also Dr. B.R. Doraswamy Nayak. We are requesting you, please kindly come and join us on the dais. Give a very special big applause and make your presence felt. May we request Dr. Kumaraswamy Reddy Kothapati, Dr. M. Srinivasa Rao, Dr. Narala Ravi Shankar Reddy, kindly be on the dais. Requesting Dr. Doraswamy also, he's here. Why don't you join us on the dais? Okay. May we request Dr. Pooja to kindly join us on the dais, our paper contributor number 3. Dr. Pooja, may we request you kindly join us? We have Dr. Seema Parmar, Mr. Jatin, they are not able to make it. We have 4 young researchers and scholars who have contributed paper number 5 of this session. You know, I have immense pleasure in requesting them to join us. Mr. Rohit Kushwaha, Ms. Ankita Jana, we have Ms. Ruchi Chaurasya. This is, yes, Rohit Kushwaha, Ankita Jana, Abhinay Shroti, and Ruchi Chaurasya. May we request you give a big applause to our young researchers who have come from Sagar, from Dr. Gaur Hari Singh University. We welcome you. Please do join us. May we request Dr. Shashi Rawat, our paper contributor paper number 6. Yeah, yes, we do have. So the main one of the presenter to be there, and then yes, I think we should be able to have. May we request Dr. Shashi Rawat? Yeah. Immense pleasure in requesting Dr. Fazul Nisha, to join us. It's a pleasure in welcoming you, Dr. Fazul. Thank you very much for contributing an article for the conference. And now would like to request the contributors of paper number 8, Dr. Nirupama Choda, Dr. Neeru Pahatia, Ms. Neeru Gupta, and Parminder Kaur. So, okay, so what we're going to do now is, this has been, yes, a challenge for the organizers, and definitely, but we'll make it sure that once we conclude the session. Thank you so very much. So this is typically, we are able to demonstrate this is a resource sharing, the sharing, our common concerns and to accommodate. Thank you very much. Immense pleasure in welcoming once again the chair, the keynote speakers, and the contributors of the session to the technical session 2. An immense pleasure now in requesting Dr. Sandesh Dessai to start the proceedings.
Good morning, everyone. We are in the second session of today's morning, and this session is related to the digital resources, open access and institutional repositories. And we have with us the keynote address, which will be delivered by Dr. K. Rama Patnaik, the Librarian, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. And there are altogether 8 papers, out of which 7 are going to present and 1 is in absentia. As we all know that as far as digital resources are concerned, open access and institutional repositories, all these 3 concepts are interrelated or correlated. And there are a lot of advantages as well as disadvantages of all these 3 concepts. The papers which we have received on these topics are in varied nature, different nature. And after the scrutiny, we have decided to have 8 papers for presentation and 8 papers for that is included in the conference proceedings. It is my time to request the keynote address, Dr. Rama Patnaik, K. Rama Patnaik, to address the gathering with her keynote address. Over to you, ma'am.
I have immense pleasure in welcoming and introducing Dr. K. Rama Patnaik ji, a well-known name in the field of library and information science, heading the most premier management institution of the country, that is IMM Bangalore. Dr. Patnaik has a doctoral degree in library and information science from Andhra University, Vizag, and the master's and bachelor's from Andhra University. Her thesis was on the topic of marketing of library and information services in Indian libraries, present trends and future perspectives, which was educated as an excellent thesis by the School of Information Sciences from Michigan University in 2002. She holds a master's degree as well in sociology. She has also secured a gold medal in both master's and bachelor's programs of library and information science. She has been with IMM Bangalore for more than a decade now, and before joining IMM Bangalore, she was with the 2 leading national law schools libraries in India. She has been a regular person, as all of us are fully being aware, with the various workshops conducted by Council for Social Development and under the aegis of ICSSR, and also has been instrumental in devising various online content, for the researchers and scholars. She was awarded the Emerald LIS Research Fund Award for the best research proposal among South Asian libraries way back in 2012 for writing a research proposal. Dr. Patnaik is also a regular speaker at various national conferences. Besides, also, she has published 1 book and 15 papers in reputed journals and has been a course writer for InfluNet, ePathshala, University of Hyderabad, and B.R. Ambedkar Open University programs. Her areas of professional interest includes integrating technology and information services, current trends in management of electronic resources, and creating subject profiles with the instructional design using LibGuides. She has also been recently awarded as a best librarian by ManLibNet. She has been a consultant and reviewer of the online course on avoiding plagiarism, published by Oxford University Press in association with Epicam in January 2018. IIMA Bangalore, under her tutelage, uses extensive use of technology to manage its collections and disseminate services to its academic community. Dr. Patnaik has undertaken 3 major projects: renovation of the library interiors, which is recently concluded, implementing RFID technologies to manage more than 2 lakhs of items, and to introduce self-serve services at IMM Bangalore. She has also been currently creating a union catalog of holdings of all IMM libraries, which is currently under the beta version. Profound honor and privilege in once again welcoming you, and thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. May I request you to kindly deliver the keynote presentation of the session. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, for the generous introduction. Um, Good morning to all of you, and it's always been a privilege to be associated with NACLIN, and this is my second engagement with NACLIN. Thanks to Dr. Sangeeta. I request her to give some other topic next time because I have outgrown of this topic, though this is evolving. Of course, we are learning every day to find out models, tools, techniques on managing our electronic content. So what is missing probably in many of the conferences, I feel, is the research and instructional support that librarians can give when they advocate for research data management services or open access or OERs. I think There are a lot of competencies that have evolved, and it's a very sad state of affairs that we are still called librarians in spite of getting so many skills on the job, where for electronic resources there is an electronic resources librarian everywhere except in India. So briefly, I would just take you through the e-resource management, the tools, techniques, frameworks, standards, what we practice in IIM Bangalore, to give a kind of practical exposure, especially to the framework which is evolving day by day because of the dynamic nature of electronic resources. And I'll talk a bit about OERs, because OERs are again a new evolving and got momentum during the COVID. We also have used some of the OERs and open textbooks, especially during the COVID time when the entire supply chain was almost vanished and we were unable to get textbooks for our students. So thank you once again for giving me the opportunity. I'll try to keep as brief as possible given the number of papers that we have after my presentation. I'll be happy to take questions at the end of my session, so I just would like to complete as soon as possible. So some bit of history or maybe about my institute, and it's a very well-known institute. Being the #1 business school, we always compete with IIM Ahmedabad, and slowly, I think we were at one time #1 when NIRF introduced its ranking. So because of the weights or maybe the proportion of the budget or the research productivity, we are always tying up neck to neck with IIM Ahmedabad. But apart from that, we are celebrating our Golden Jubilee celebrations this year. And these are the new testimonials which are updated last, I think it is not showing, yeah. So NIRF ranking, we are always second. But when it comes to having global networking, I think we are the only one in the GNAM as far as business schools are concerned. Our executive education is always in global top 50. You can see the years there. And then the MBA 2023, #3 in as per FT ranking, it is third and 52 globally. We are EQUIS accredited. It's very, very important. The international accreditation has certain standards for the way libraries have to be meeting, the standards criteria. So first time we got this accreditation in the year 2010 and 2011. During that period, I think I came into many of the standards that are prescribed to be a part of this accreditation process. So whatever developments you see, of course, in libraries are always triggered either by the ranking agencies or the accreditation. And we have to meet up with the standards, and also the increasing budget is justified only to meet certain criteria to maintain these levels of ranking and of course accreditation. And above all, of course, IMB is known for its research in finance and accounting area. So we were earlier registered as a society, but now through the Act of Parliament, we got the autonomy in 2017. That's recently again amended in January 2023. So we are not a society anymore. So each of these IM are independent to develop their own rules, frameworks, and all. This is all done through the Act of Parliament. So as of now, we have 105 full-time faculty, about 1,500 students across degree granting programs, and nearly 5,000 annual executive education participants. So our library, when we count the FTE equivalent for subscribing any resource, we always take the regular programs and also some part of the executive education where the duration is more than 6 months. So that is how because the library access, off-campus access is also given to the executive education participants, and also online programs which have a minimum duration of at least 3 months. So these are some of the regular programs we have: Doctor of Philosophy, PhD 5-year, and Master of Business Administration, 1 year full-time, which is residential. Then we have 2-year weekend program and 2-year full-time program. We also started business analytics, which is a part of the regular 2-year MBA program. That's why IIM Bangalore has the highest number of MBA students, more than 650, as compared to other IIMs, including IIM Ahmedabad. So the Master of Management Studies, including public policy, MMS, and 1-year full-time program. and business analytics. That is what we introduced 2 years ago. So coming to my topic, we are talking today about the electronic resource management. Given the diversity and complexities of the e-content that we procure, I know that all of us sitting in this hall spend more than 90% of our budget in procuring the electronic resources. But over the period of time, when we were actually looking at the management of electronic resources, we were concentrating only on 3, 4. Now the e-resource also includes the streaming or audiovisual or anything that comes in a digital or electronic format, and the tools and techniques that are governing this management of these electronic resources is evolving over a period of time. So what is the framework, what are the tools of technique, what standards to follow, and how all these activities, right from procurement to dissemination, assessment, can be brought into a framework to understand what are the activities in each of these milestones. So when we talk about e-resources in our, in our libraries, we are familiar probably with these 2 to 3, types. So these 2 to 3 types. I think I'm audible. Yeah. Okay. So these 2 to 3 types, they especially databases or journals and ebooks. But nowadays, what we have observed in our library is the acquisition of data sets is taking almost 50% of the budget of databases, because these are all single files which are obtained not on any platform. They are for permanent retention, and these are very, very expensive. So even the data sets which are published by Government of India have to be bought because they are not open. ICSSR, open data and ICSR data services, they do give the unit level data, but aggregated level data for researchers will not be appropriate for their engaging in the research. So now we have formulated new acquisition policy as to how we can acquire these data sets justifying the budget, because each data sets cost sometimes 50 lakhs. Last 2 years we have spent almost 3 crores in acquiring the data set for our researchers, which also includes like the polling data, which are supposed to be with Election Commission, but they are sourced through a third party called indiastat.com. Or we have the census block data, which should be ideally with the census, but we end up buying the census data. Or if you're looking at the geographic district level map data, that is also brought through a third party source, because they do a lot of improvisation on the data, where the researcher doesn't have to spend too much time on, on the authenticity and integrity of the data. But over a period of time, I think to include these complexities, the latest categorization what we have come across under the techniques of electronic resource management is the terms 2, which is known as term 2. And the categorization is basic, advanced, and of course the open access. So we were actually neglecting the way the open access resources are proliferating, especially in DOAG, or the books, or the compilation of open access resources or preprint servers. So these were not a part of our management. What we were as library staff in IIM Bangalore, we were assuming that these are something that are easily discoverable on Google and Google Scholar, but that is not the case. You will find in many of the universities abroad, there is a specialization called OER librarians. So we'll talk about the OERs at a later stage, but for e-resource management, we'll just take some of the concepts of open access journals, ebooks, and how you are going to deal with when you negotiate for any journal publishers or ebook aggregators on the influence of open access material into your subscription. So we all are aware of ILS. I think still we are bogged down with the Koha only, so though I think hardly we might be spending about 5% of our budget. The ILS, or the integrated library management systems, were like in vogue for managing the print resources for a long time. I think IMB digital journey began in 2011 when we decided to convert our entire journal subscription into online format. So our budget of 90% and above is always on the digital content. I'll also show some of the slides at what constitute actually the ownership part and what is the subscription part of it. And we know that the ILS doesn't meet the requirement of managing the electronic resources because of the kind of or the nature of work or the tools that are so scattered across applications that none of the ILS are able to fulfill this requirement, except maybe managing your serials. And when it comes to management of your serials, maybe to some extent, I think the packages and the metadata capturing and extracting them into a format where you can integrate into your discovery and other online tools for visibility. So we are talking about three terminologies which we come across through literature, because since this is an evolving topic, and I think we also look into any business process tools that are being used. Like I came across in literature about the application of Japanese processing method called Kanban, where you end up maintaining the cards which are scattered across the librarians and the different functionalities on the development of, or the processing or the ultimate acquisition of any content. So we'll talk about processes, the framework, the set of processes which can be modeled into a visualization, which actually is called a framework. And then what are the competencies that are associated when you are actually dealing with electronic resources. Since it is very underrated in India, as a librarian, you do everything, but these are some of the specialization where you need some kind of exposure to literature, and also any of the trainings that are available online to understand the complexities involved in managing the electronic resources. Can somebody please help? This one, the next slide. Yeah, the earliest framework, what we were familiar in 2008, was designed by one of the, associates from EBSCO. His name is Oliver Peck. I don't know how it's pronounced, but this is what he thought, that the entire process of electronic resources can be brought and visualized this way, where, you have the 5 major milestones. One is acquire, provide access, then administer, support, evaluate, and then renew. So this was the oldest framework which was available since 2008. We came across about this framework in 2011, ever since we were trying to cope up with how we actually organize this in any system that will allow. At that time, we were only managing with Excel, Outlook, and other, I think we had done an advanced course in Excel to manage the content analysis when it comes to acquisition of new content. Because if you take an example of, say, EBSCO, ProQuest, and Business Source Complete or Ultimate, so both look similar. One USP for both of these, what we found is, one actually gives the current access to MIT Sloan Management, which is a very core journal for business schools, and the other thing is Harvard Business Review. But apart from that, if you have to compare the uniqueness of content, when we compared both of things, I think out of their thousands of whatever articles they have given in Excel file, we wanted to know where the duplication is, and we used to employ the VLOOKUP kind of function in MS Excel. But after doing that, I think we were not aware that any application also will do. Nowadays, I think there are 6 to 7 open access resources or software applications which will allow you to do a kind of duplication check of the content across your resources. So we found that about 300 items are very unique to ABI Inform, which are not available in EBSCO, and 500 unique items in Business Source Complete, which are not available in ProQuest ABI Inform. So the decision making actually requires, one of these criteria is how much of the content is actually duplicated at what level. So this is the oldest framework, which I think you all may be aware of. Then came the terms and a little bit improvisation on the original model developed by Perk. It's okay. So this was, instead of framework, they said techniques for managing electronic resources. This has, again, there's 6 steps. This is what the figure shows. And in the version 2, one of the items that were added was actually the troubleshooting part of it, where the competencies are required also in troubleshooting, and also preservation and sustainability. So instead of the terms talking about only very specific resources, it categorized into basic and complex and open access. So this model evolution, as said, the terms 2 works on the Pareto principles, what we are generally familiar with, where 20% of our content is mostly used and 80% is dormant. But each subsection also divided into 3 parts, like basic, complex, and open access, not just resources as databases, journals, ebooks, kind of thing. As I said, the acquisition of datasets is completely different from the subscription of databases. That requires a different skill set in understanding the data sets, what constitute it, and especially when you are looking for authenticity and their permanent retention, because today you will be delivered a file in Excel, I think 2017 version or something. And then beyond, I think 3 years, 4 years, it will not open in your system. The same is with NSSO datasets. They developed a application called Nestar. So if you don't have Nestar, again, you will not be able to open unit level data. So what we did when we acquired these kind of data sets, we just take it and put it in a preservation format and host it on a cloud server, and which is accessible to our researchers with the single sign-on methodology. So one of the important things what we understood when we began is having written collection development policies, which should be very descriptive and which should be open to any kind of iteration as your pricing models evolve, licensing also evolves. And I know that 2012, when we were signing license agreement, they used to be unilateral, but not anymore now. I think in IM consortium, we have come up with a model license agreement and a checklist for any kind of, for a checklist for license negotiations. Whenever any partner institute actually tries to acquire any e-journal or e-book or maybe e-database. So that actually serves a kind of an instrument for the publishers to understand that, oh, if they have to introduce the product in IAM consortium, then they have to meet this criteria. I think Pratap, who's sitting here, would understand how we have tried to struggle to overcome the license agreements, especially with the aggregators. So the checklist and also the budgeting. Budgeting is an important process unless you are able to show the impact of the current year e-resources, then your budget will not be approved. So the budget estimation is actually a kind of exercise where every year when we have to present in November, our work actually starts from July onwards, tracking the trends across 5 years, how the resources have performed in terms of not only usage, we also capture the queries and the data requirements and FAQ views, website views, the handouts, all kind of items which are created for use of any resource, including our email campaigns also, how many of them have opened it and how many of them have actually given some kind of response to it. So every year when we present an annual report, we have the entire data which is collated, giving justification not only for the budget, but the budget that is sanctioned, how it is utilized. So very, very important to have a written collection development policy. You can get into the spec kit, which is published by ACRL, how to develop an ebook development policy, how to develop database policy. I think our collection development policies have taken best practices across literature, and this is actually approved not only by the library committee, but also by the auditors, both financial and legal. So our collection development policy, we publish like this, which is available on intranet, because this is iterative and people comment on this, that so-and-so policy of approval is not correct, where it is depriving a certain community of users, they can actually post. There is a discussion list below this. They can post their comments on any shortcomings from the existing collection development policy. So taking all the frameworks of terms 2.0 and also Oliver Peck, we came up with our own model. This is again subject to approval with a lot of iterations in the existing framework, which was earlier approved by the library committee. These are the 5 milestones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the acquiring process, where the subject and content analysis. Either we go with the traditional licensing, or we have an option of going through the CERU. CERU is actually the NISO standard for licensing. If we also ask the publisher whether he is open to having a localized license agreement, or he can subscribe to the CERU standard, which is also acceptable to us. And then the pricing models, we evaluate the pricing models, FTE, and the type of access. Sometimes high-end financial databases which are unaffordable, we usually take in restricted access. Then we also talk to our computer center how the access will be affected. For instance, during COVID time, we had all the disaster management access, which was opened by many of the service providers like Bloomberg and Refinitiv, Thomson databases, earlier known as Thomson databases. So they have given some kind of disaster management application where anybody can access anytime. But ideally, they have to sit in a desktop in the library, and some of the ports have to be closed because all of them should have a public IP to access the resources. So when it comes to financial databases, our work starts almost 3 months before the actual acquisition, because most of the account managers will be out of India, and you had to adjust with the timings, including the license negotiations, especially with the legal team. Then the payment terms, nowadays, I think all of us are bogged down by DST, TDS and all, and also getting the, authorization letter, who could be the distributor, and the taxation part of it. And that gets evolved over a period of time. Like, I think GST was there for earlier serials, and now it is not there. And when it comes to aggregated databases, and again, it becomes very controversial on the taxation part of it. So all these, for taxation, again, you need the financial documents, which is very, very difficult to get from abroad. Usually they give Form 10 or K3 or any other document on the tax residency, which is very important to process the foreign currency when you make the payment. That's why it takes almost 3 months to initiate any subscription where the accounting team is outside of the India or a different time zone. And when we take the renewal decisions, again, as I said, every year we have to give an annual report to the faculty council on the impact and the assessment of the current resources, as well as the library services that were provided to our clientele. On the part of providing access, again, you have IP address registration, activation, cataloging, and we have to push it in A to Z list, holdings list, proxy support, searching and linking, discovery services. We use Summons discovery services. We also use their best bets and BS recommender, which is AI generated for retrieving similar articles on a given search query. We also use full text finder, and also which is a browser add-on, where if you are not getting a subscribed content using your library's single search, if you are in Google Scholar, if there is another version which is in open access, actually that browser plugin retrieves that article for you. So the providing access part of it almost takes a month to, if it is an aggregator database, or if you're buying books, e-books, especially using a EBA model. I think all of you are aware of an EBA model, how it works, because you pay certain amount upfront for a specific number of articles, but you get access to more than what you pay for 1 year. That means these 1800 titles, if are opened by any publisher, they will vanish next year, and you retain only, say, 10% of it by paying the money that you want to own for the ebooks. So in that case, how much of cleanup is required across discovery, across OPAC, across catalog. So that is also a very cumbersome process. Sometimes we just try to populate it only in discovery and then take it out instead of putting in our OPAC, because sometimes it is very, very difficult to mask out those records which are, the access is terminated after 1 year of accessing the ebooks. Same is with the discovery and also off-campus access. So what you'll do when you have restricted access, and then this has to be also given off-campus access, the remote access tool, what we use, not only for our community, but sometimes I think you have to give it to board of governors. They may not have the email IDs, they may not have the IMB email ID domains. Sometimes there are visitors, guests, so we could not confine it only to a particular domain, and also of the restricted access. So in that case, we have to talk to the technical team and allow them to bypass the additional authentication that is required. Usually the industry reports databases, they don't come up with any kind of IP kind of access where you just click on any URL and you get through. So that is one of the difficult part of managing the off-campus access for certain resources where the access is restrictive only to a few concurrent users. And then administrating the rights, what are the user rights, access restrictions, holding changes, and title list changes. Then technical support, certificate update, like if you are accessing through single sign-on, mostly most advanced newspapers and all, they will ask you to update your SSL certificate to make it more secure as far as access is concerned. So when you are using single sign-on, then again, you have to update the certificate on and off. We are grappling with almost 5 to 6 newspaper vendors. Every 4 months, we have to also update the certificate, that too in collaboration with the computer center, because we don't manage the network. It has to be done at the global level of IMB network. And we have this usage metrics. Every 3 months, we just take the usage statistics. This is actually the data that we are not dependent on publishers. We log into our administrator ID. We do the sushi protocol where automatically it downloads the total unique, total item request, total unique request. So now everybody has moved on from counter 4 to counter 5 of statistics. We use LibInsight analytics, and there are at least some 8 modules where you can capture not only your usage data from the e-content, but also from your website, from your resources, guides, and also the tutorials, how many times it is accessed, or any of the subject guides that is created by our librarian staff, library staff, then what are the views. So then we also calculate the cost per usage for every resource. Like for general packages, what is the total cost and what are the FTA, what are the downloads, whatever the mechanics devised by ALA, we just follow that. And when we give the cost per usage for ebooks, for data sets, and for also databases. So that is I'll just show a snapshot of how we give it in our annual report. And then there comes the licensing contract. I think it's a part of this acquisition process. We always ask for a draft license agreement before even signing any agreement or issuing the purchase order. We go through the terms and conditions of it, try to localize it as much as possible. One of the things which is uncompromised is the fair dealing principles, especially when we are buying a content. It should be useful for classroom instruction. That means course packs could be developed, and journal publishing, article publishing, and with all attribution. So when they say that what are the sites that can use, then the license agreement should also define the physical sites. I think we are only one campus. We are now starting another campus about 30 kilometers. So it becomes another physical site. So in your license agreement, how you are going to define the site as a unified one instead of multiple sites. So that definition is very, very important when negotiating the licensing contract. I give some 13 deal breaker points which are very, very important for negotiating the license. So this is what we do for our ebook collection. We do the content intelligence. What is important we do for ebooks is the collection mapping. Collection mapping is an exercise that we do to benchmark our collection or identify collection gaps in the collection. Usually we track the top 10 business schools and also the 6 IIMs in India. And over a period of 5 years, basing on the subjects, where are the gaps? So wherever there are gaps in the collection, we also track the turnaways. You are aware of the turnaways data. So for each of the ebook packages, we go to the ebook packages, take out the turnaways data, and also identify that these subjects are some of the things which are having gaps in our collection. And every 5 years, we are given a generous budget to fill the gap of that collection, because most of the time, the collection is requisition driven, especially in India, unlike the approval process of US or other countries. So the requisition driven is also done by the library. What we do, our staff will actually track the forthcoming publications. We have access to choice reviews. The choice reviews give the reviews for each of this book. We select from that. For instance, if there is a course on entrepreneurship which is floated for a particular program, then we just track the books that are published on entrepreneurship based in India and also abroad. And then we prepare a list and broadcast it to our faculty. From there, they actually select. Every year, I think about 80, 100 titles are selected on the basis of what we select and publish as a bulletin to our faculty, and then almost 90% of the titles what we choose and send it to faculty are selected. So you need to have specific subject librarians to do this. In our library, we are only 5 or 6 of them who are specializing in this. They're actually multitasking, and they take care of all the activities in the library. So each one are given two to three subjects to track the forthcoming publications, and that is how we fill up our ebook collection. This is the framework for our life cycle for our journals and databases. As I said, if you look at this, the integration in platforms, discovery services, best bets, lean library, subject guides, handover, quick finder, and proxy access. Not only that, we have developed a FAQ database. Whenever you have time, please visit our library website, IMB Library. You will get all that what I'm talking it on the home page. You don't need any credentials to access them. So these proxy access, and these are all some of the things that take a lot of our time whenever there is addition or deletions of subject packages, especially with the journals and ebooks. We don't take many of the aggregators ebooks. We thought that evidence-based model was working, was accepted very well within our community. So we also develop a kind of directory. We subscribe to almost 120 databases, about 22,000 journals, and we acquire annually about 3,000 to 5,000 ebooks on ownership basis, not on subscription or aggregator packages. What we develop is the unique content. So this, whenever we get a resource, we try to get this profile from the vendors, and then what is unique in the content and for what subject it is useful. So this is actually given to the faculty and the doctoral students who drive our collection. So we find out the unique content whenever a trial is enabled, and we also tell them that where this content is duplicated and what are the unique content in this database that would help you to take a decision whether you take it or not. So this kind of directory is also available for download for our community. So for all the 120 resources, we develop a directory of this kind. So this is an example, not necessarily a part of my budgeting process. When we allocate the budget, how we do it in management, it's very, very difficult because of lot of interdisciplinary nature, and also strategy and management, I think they use a lot of content from other disciplines as well. So if I have to, get an approval process much faster than instead of going to the committee or the approval layers, I can devise my subject into various categories, and also whether it should be evaluated for the next year, for how long it is required. So this is what we prepared as a model, and this was again changed by the library committee act, when it came to the segmentation of the allocation of the budget. So anything that is costing above 5 lakhs goes to a higher committee other than the library committee, because our library committee is very small, having 4 to 5 members. But if it is not within the subject domain, it goes to another level of approval. That is how we actually were able to take a decision on how long a particular resource should be negotiated, whether it is required only for 1 year by a doctoral student, or it is required for a research center for a longer period. Like we have a real estate research center, which was started in 2020. So we are now getting a lot of resources for that research center, including the data. And we know that for how long it is required, unless the data requirement is met by the research area in terms of publishing any report or taking any projects from Government of India. So these were some of the softwares that were developed. I think most of you may be aware of the Yale University Lib license that was freely available. We used it for a long time to understand the license agreement in a more, in a language other than the legal. And we always ask the publisher or the content provider to simplify the language, except for some terminologies which are unavoidable. But the description of the site, the authorized users, and also about the content, what is what is subscribed, because a platform may have multiple products, then what is the product that is included in this? It can't be a kind of standard license agreement, it has to be more explicit. So what is now more prevalent, I think, ERMS. The Koha ERMS, what we found is recently they have included the module called usage statistics. I have used Coral and Koha for almost 2 years, and none of these applications support any workflow. They're very basic in terms of creating a knowledge resource, and also budget is also not properly done, and you need actually a knowledge base, not your custom collection what you can import into it. Summon Discovery and EBSCO Discovery, they have knowledge base which can be imported into it. That is charged additional. I'm not aware of any open source knowledge base which is regularly updated. I think these two are some of the knowledge bases which are very crucial for any e-resource management. The ALMA is the one which is widely used in US libraries, which are very, very cost prohibitive. And of course, I think what is missing in this list is EBSCO's Folio. Folio used to be an open source. They gave a sandbox, and then you could have developed having your own open source, experts in the library. But they saw that since it is not being adapted by the open source advocates, then they came up with a customized version, which is very, very cost prohibitive, costing about $20,000. But as of now, we have to just do with the Microsoft Office and other tools to manage your e-resources. So you see some of the staff and the systems and the tools. This is by the Maryland University College. We actually took this to explain to our library committee about the kind of process and tools and the competencies that are required to manage e-resources. The guidelines given by Library Association, Federation, and universities as far as license agreement is concerned in terms of users or permission of ILL or auto-renewal clauses, I think that always get missed out whenever we negotiate the license agreement. Some of them, they say that if you don't notify us 3 months before the actual expiration, that means the subscription is continued. So this is one of the things that actually very, very crucial, and most of them, they don't agree. You always have to insist on drop dead agreements, the term that is used by the content providers, where you don't have to give any kind of notice, and 1 day notice, you can just terminate the access of any resource. So some of the model licenses you can adapt. These are the resources which are taken out from a university website. So these, I think our model license agreement is also drawn from these resources. So when it comes to acquisition, again, I don't want to talk about the same thing. Nowadays, I think the One Nation, One Subscription or also the consortium products have a great influence on the way you acquire and also the influence of ESS. So we have products or resources where we directly go through the agents, and we have where the price is negotiated by Ishot Sindhu, and then we have IIM consortium. So there is influence of at least 2 national level consortium on our pricing models. We have very limited say in that, but those are, I think, the amount of content which are decided by the consortium constitute only about 30 to 40%. But the budget what is spent on our own resources is basically on the financial databases is much, much more than these. So this is what we do when it comes to license agreement. We insist on interlibrary loan, especially for ebooks and journals. Databases also, some reports, we try to incorporate that, especially in industry reports. Like CRISIL research or ICRA research, they allow only 1 or 2 reports to be given on ILL to any faculty or researchers, that too with an undertaking. And then copyright compliance for classroom instructions. We have signed an IRRO agreement, but for that print resources. But when it comes to online resources, at least 1 chapter or 10% of an ebook should be available for course packs. And also databases with attribution. So if any report or any data that is taken for classroom instruction, again, it should be available for attribution. Then open access reporting and APC. We saw that some of the journals become open access, or some journals actually accept open access articles, and then we want to know how much amount of open access content has increased in a journal package to justify the price, subscription price of the journal. Then governing law, usually they say the governing law of New York or Singapore or something, which we insist at least Delhi, if not Bangalore. And compatibility with your local system, they should have MARC records, Jet39 profile, and KBAT. Archival access rights and perpetual access rights. So any journal packages that we take, we should have the perpetual access rights. And if the journal is taken away to another platform, we insist on dark archive agreements, especially clocks and Portico. So journal providers should have an agreement with either clocks or Portico to ensure that we have permanent access to the journal for which we have paid. And again, authorized sites and access methods and authorized users. We have included walk-in users, where anyone can come as a walk-in user and get access to our e-content. And that decision of how we should give the access, including our alumni, we keep negotiating with our content providers, and we do allow like 1 hour, 2 hours kind of access to certain journal databases or financial databases wherever they are flexible. But I can assure that anyone comes to our library for accessing any content, we never send them disappointed. We cater to almost 5,000 scholars across South India on management resources. And every Wednesday, we allow at least 10 to 15 faculty or doctoral students to come and use our resources. So again, pricing models, I think you are all aware of the pricing models. Yeah, and actually we tried with this FT-based and time series data. Time series data is one of the things that we always insist on, especially for databases. Unless they allow us the extraction, we don't. How much time I have? Okay, so the same is with e-journals. Usually for IEMs, e-journal collections, they are actually custom collection. You will not find any subject collections to be given that way, because we are, very strange with our subjects. Business management, economics is what the terminology used, but most of the time we also include maths and statistics as an important component for decision sciences and information systems area, including computer science. And pay-per-view, we have never used it, and we are very grateful to Delnet. I think we get most of our articles and books. We are not using any paper. Earlier we were doing pay-per-view, but ever since we take Delnet subscription, I think we are very grateful for that association, and we are depending on Delnet only, and our own CFTIs, who also provide us whatever articles and journals we ask for articles. So I think I have spoken about this already. So this is what our discovery services results look like. If I give a search query like mutual funds, this is actually hosted on the Summons platform by ProQuest. Uh, Here you just see the industry dashboard. The industry dashboard is developed by us, by the library staff. So if you're looking for information on mutual funds, on the right side you see it gets from the dictionary, the definition of mutual funds. In the middle page, you see it just gives the industry dashboard and also recommend the databases. This is called Best Bet Service of Summons, where if you're searching for mutual funds, you don't have to go to library webpage and see which databases actually deal with mutual funds. You just get that NAB India and Dion Insight. They deal with. On the left side, if you see, there are filtering options. We have not integrated deliberately the open access because the number of results it gets goes into millions. So this opportunity of getting the open access content into the discovery services is actually benefited by adding one more filter, open access. So if you're not getting any content which is subscribed by library, you can always click on open access content and get whatever that is available on internet. So this summon implementation, we did it. It took almost 6 months for us to implement the summons, especially taking the knowledge base and integrating it, and also tweaking the relevancy ranking. And this is how we support, evaluate, and renew. And what are the important parameters, especially when you are collating the usage, is total item request and unique item request. That is the qualifying parameter for any usage report. You will get thousands of, hundreds of report as for counter 5. But when you are evaluating your content, I think these two parameters actually hold the key for your journals and books. So this is our cost per usage for journals. And when it comes to, please don't click anything. These are all confidential information. So 61% is subscription and ownership is only 39%. Yeah, okay. So what we included recent developments is the text and data mining ability in any software and transformative agreements like allowing open access without charging any APCs. So a bit about the OERs, I think we are running short of time. I'll just take 2 to 3 minutes. It's actually a huge specialization when you talk about open access, open educational resources. Though the term was coined way back in 2002 by UNESCO, a lot of developments have happened, and this got momentum only with the COVID. I tell you about our experience in IM Bangalore. I think we were the first one to sign an agreement with edX platform way back in 2016. And at that time, the MOOCs were open. The massive online educational programs were open for everyone who were trying to, get a basic conceptual kind of training, especially with the management concepts, whether it is finance, accounting, business statistics, decision sciences, operation management and all. So what we did, once we opened for 3 years, we saw that there are a lot of registration, and these are used for all our online services, especially for our certificate course of public policy, where they have to pass certain MOOC courses and then they come to the face-to-face interaction. And our second encounter happened with open textbooks. I think we all librarians are not managing our reserves. What traditionally we know in print, world is the textbook section what we had. I think nowadays these are become so unaffordable except for the CFTIs where it's become a part of tuition fee. But we have used the open textbooks, especially during the COVID time, and it involves a lot of effort by the librarians. Unless you liaise with your faculty on a specific subject, development of OERs is going to be very, very challenging in terms of quality, in terms of the pedagogy, whether it is allowing any kind of critical thinking analysis, and also the instructional models that are required for writing in kind of textbooks. What we collate from any kind of program is recording of the lectures and then editing the part of it. So we have actually offered our institute how to collate these lectures in the classroom apart from the online courses that are offered on our IMB MOOC platform and the EDX. So the OERs especially will have their own evaluation checklist in terms of getting the books that are recommended for any courses or the journals. We saw that the onset of predatory journals have made us alert that what journals have to be included in any kind of journal list, and give the information to our faculty as to how you can actually evaluate or get to know by the criteria the identification of predatory journals. So these are the five R principles. They are OER licenses, and these are some of the subject-based repositories for OERs. I have collated this. I'll share it later with the providers. And ACRL has actually developed a toolkit for an OER librarian. You can go and visit this site. It also gives the accessibility, advocacy, assessment, research, pedagogy, and the communities. You can collaborate if you have interest on OERs. Take these things to your faculty and see how the budget on any kind of educational resources can be reduced to a vast extent if you collaborate with your faculty to develop these OERs. So this is what I think is something given on the guidelines of evaluating the OA journals. So I think that concludes my session. Sorry, I have taken more time. As usual, I wanted to conclude. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm open to any questions after everybody presents their papers. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you once again, ma'am. Let's go to the paper presentation now. We will not waste the time because time is running short for us. Only one announcement. Each paper presenter will get 5 minutes to present themselves. Don't read the slides, please. Don't read the slides. You just introduce the topic, objectives, then what are your results, and summarize it. That's what. Another thing is that after 4 minutes, you will get a bell ringing here, and after 5 minutes, a long bell will go. Okay? Please cooperate with us so that we will finish this session on time. Thank you very much. I would like to request the first paper presenter. Paper 1, the presenter is Doraswamy Naik, Professor, University Library, Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University, Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. He is going to present on awareness and utilization of digital resources by faculty members affiliated to Sri Venkateshwara Veterinary University, Tirupati, a survey. Your time starts now, sir.
Respected Chair of the Technical Section, Sandesh Pandey, paper, technical paper presenter, Madam Rama Patnaik, my co-presenters, delegates, all of you, Madam Sangeeta. Good morning, good afternoon all. This paper focus on NACLIN 2023 title based theme and sub-theme. The present paper, the importance of this paper. Recently, in Andhra Pradesh state bifurcated 2014, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. In the education sector, some revolutionary changes in the Andhra Pradesh state. The mainly focused on education, new education policy implemented, and the scenario particularly veterinary agriculture universities bifurcated. The agriculture university divided into Veterinary University in Tirupati, the Agriculture University in Lam, Guntur, in the middle of the Andhra Pradesh state. Coming to Veterinary University, they established the constitute colleges, different regions in the Andhra Pradesh. One is in the Veterinary University in Tirupati, Rayalaseema region, Veterinary College, Produttur. In the middle of the Andhra Pradesh, Gannavaram, Veterinary College, Gannavaram. In the coastal region of Andhra Pradesh, Veterinary College, Nujividu. Veterinary colleges established. Further, particularly this paper focus on nowadays the user, the main focus, librarian, library profession, aware or not to serve their users a particular e-resource contents or not. The title, Awareness and Utilization of Digital Resources by Faculty Members affiliated to Sri Venkateswara University, Veterinary University, Tirupati. The outline and highlight of this paper: introduction, objectives, scope and limitations, research methodology, conclusion and suggestion. You know, a short of time, I am not going to introduce. We have already NACLIN conference proceedings. Just brief about digital resources serve as an important component of the library collection since from establishment. Objective of the study, to assess the amount of familiarity and frequency in the use of the different type of digital resources made by faculty members, to find out the purpose and utilization of digital resources and services by faculty members, to know the adequacy and importance to digital resources, to find out the impediments encountered by faculty members while accessing and using digital resources, and to suggest suitable suggestions and recommendations to improve digital resources and services for the benefit of users. Scope and limited. The scope of the study is limited to exploring awareness and utilization, academic users, especially focus of the digital resources and services available in the veterinary science college libraries. The methodology of the particular title, keeping in view of the above objectives, a questionnaire is prepared to collect data from faculty members of the following veterinary science college affiliated Sri Venkateswara Veterinary University, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh, the College of Veterinary Science, Tirupati, the College of Veterinary Science, Gannavaram, College of Veterinary Science, Produttur, and Garividu. The research I have undertaken a survey to month of July 2023. The questionnaire submitted different users. The overall within 20 days, we collected the data, engaging 150 faculty members working in this college as respondents. A questionnaire was distributed among all the faculty members, elicit their measured views, opinions. However, 110 faculty members only responded by written complete questionnaires. Conclusion: most of the faculty members, 76.36 of familiarity, particularly the usage of digital resources. About 35-45% of the faculty members are using the digital library daily. 30% 2 or 3 times in a week, 19.09% once in a week, 10% once in a month, and 5.46% used them nearly. Most of the faculty members are using only public access catalog than any other digital resources. E-book and widely online library collections are less used and compared to the other resources. Majority of the faculty members, 75.45, are using digital resources for researches, while 71.82% of them are using the teaching purposes. A majority of the faculty members, 47.4, 27 opined that they acquired skill to use digital resources through self-study method, reading books, journals, tutorials, etc. A majority of 5,182 of these faculty members stated that lack of times in the main impediment to access digital resources while lacking of training 49.09%, too much information retrieved 40.91%, limited to access to computers 39.09%, and lack of IT knowledge 20.91% emerge as major problems to access digital resources. Coming to suggestions, based on the
Thank you,
detailed
sir.
study
Thank
and
you.
its outcome,
Please.
the following suggestions are recommendations to improve the usage digital resources. Faculty members in the surveyed colleges, with increasing influx digital resources into the libraries, more user orientation initiatives should be implemented.
Please
Thank you.
conclude. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Doraswamy Nayak. The next presenter, we will take the question and answer at the end of the session. Next will be Dr. Kumara Swami Reddy, who the librarian of Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Tirupati, is going to present on books, collection in engineering colleges, libraries of Hyderabad and Rangareddy district, a study. Please be brief, sir.
Good afternoon, one and all. My research topic is books collection in engineering college libraries of Hyderabad and Rangareddy districts, a study. Engineering colleges provide technical education and its important role in expected in growth and development of the country. Thus, the libraries of the engineering institute must have good collection of books and other information resources. The term collection development refers to the process of systematically building library collections to assist study, teaching, research, recreational and other objectives of library. The major findings of the objectives of the study: to know the various book collection available in the selected engineering college libraries, to know the various methods of purchase of books in the selected engineering college libraries, to know the availability of non-book materials in e-resources. The methodology: a structured questionnaire was designed and used to collection the data. The data was collected from the librarians of 23 engineering colleges. Copies of questionnaires were personally distributed to the librarians and the response rate was 100%. The data collected from the questionnaires were analyzed and interpreted. Scope and limitation: the study primarily concerned with the libraries of engineering colleges functioning within the territorial jurisdiction of Hyderabad and Rangareddy districts in Telangana. The present study in the limited to 23 engineering colleges were established in the 2000 year on or before, that is 23 years of colleges. This is already mentioned in this proceedings. The major findings: 39.13% of colleges have collection of 31,001 to 40,000 textbooks. 52.5% have more than 2,500 reference books. 52.1% have 1,000 to 2,000 research reports, dissertations on their collection, and their 43.48% acquiring books directly from the local distributors, agents, vendors. Conclusion: in some of the institutions' libraries, it has been observed that is no provision for budget preparation committees of library committee. As a result, an appropriate budget preparation policy need to be formulated. The quantity of financial support should be constantly raised as the current funding for the acquisition of high quality books has been determined to be insufficient. To keep up with the ever-changing environment, the relevant affiliating and recognizing organizations should routinely review to the policies and procedures governing libraries in engineering colleges. Thank you.
The next paper presenter is Dr. Pooja Her topic is on digital resources and their use through open ethics in health science libraries, a study of KMC Mangalore Library.
Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Pooja, working as Chief Librarian at Kasturba Medical College, Mangalore, which is affiliated to Mahe Deemed University. And my topic is digital resources and their use through open access, that is remote access. How the users of Central Library KMC Mangalore, they are using and their awareness in the use of the digital resources through remote access, that is open Athens. Introduction. As all of you know, that nowadays digital resources are replacing the print resources. So it is a library, our library is not exceptional, and we are subscribing more than 20 online resources, and which includes online books, online journals, and research databases, and also some other like plagiarism checking and other grammar checking softwares. Almost all the major databases in health science are subscribed by our central library. So when we are subscribing these databases, it is also necessary we have to give the maximum use of these resources, not only in the library, we have to provide access even outside the library also. And this remote access was very helpful during our COVID time. And at that time, students were not able to come to the library. So at that time, we have given access through this remote access to all the library users, including UG students, PG students, and all the staff members also. So, see, this is the objectives of the study: to explore the digital collections of KMC Library Mangalore, and to study the use of these resources through Open Athens software, that is remote access, and to study the difficulties, what are the challenges that users are facing while accessing these resources. And this is the data analysis. 100 questions were distributed and 94 received, and the response rate is 94%. And this is the awareness, whether the students are aware. Therefore, this maximum students are not aware.
Madam, please go to your findings or the results.
This is the awareness, and this is the preferred digital resource type. Use of Open Athens for remote access e-resources, how they use. This is the frequency of use, how frequently they use the online resources. And this is the useful, whether they find it useful or not. This is the reasons, that is the main reasons, what are the reasons, what are the obstacles for them for not using the library resources. This is the suggestions, which are very important to promote our use of e-resources. And the suggestions are, announcements should be made, because according to the user's suggestion, we have to create user awareness, and we have to conduct orientations program. So we have decided, and we are now itself we are conducting sessions whenever new databases are introduced, and whenever the new classes, that means new UG students admission is started. At that time, when for PGs also we are conducting all the sessions. We have two campuses. In both the campuses, we are conducting training sessions for 1 week in all the databases. And so that we are trying to maximize the use of remote access. So training is very important, and we are giving the training and orientation program whenever necessary to all the UG students. Thank you, one and all.
The next paper presenter is Mr. Rohit Kushwaha, the research scholar from Department of Library and Information Science, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Ms. Ruchi Chaurasia is going to present it. The topic of the title of the paper is Utilization of Library Resources and its Services by Research Scholars of Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh.
The paper is written by my fellow researchers, Mr. Rohit Kushwaha, Ms. Ankita Janam, and Mr. Abhinay Shruti. The title of my paper is Utilization of Library Resources and Services by the Research Scholars of Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. It is very much explanatory by the title that it is a case study of the central library of the university, that how the research scholars are utilizing the resources present in the library and are they aware of the services provided to them. It is very much important to take up this topic because this is one among the oldest library and it is still working on the traditional basis. So it is important to know that are the research scholars needs are fulfilled by the libraries although it is traditional. The objective of our study is to explore the awareness of resources and services at the library, at the university library, to identify the types of resources preferred by the library users, to identify satisfaction level, and to explore the issues regarding the use of library resources and services. Survey-based method was used, and tool used for gathering data is questionnaire, where study was done on 100 users. Research scholars, among them 72 were further analyzed. On the basis of analysis, the findings reveals that majority were male, that is 68.1%, and 31% was female. For the frequency to visit the library by research scholars is majority of them were occasionally visitors, that is 44%, 44.4%, and on the daily basis only 15.3% of the research scholars were visiting the library. And the purpose for visiting the library is mainly to study the resources, to return the books, and to read the print journals. 54.2 of the respondents were aware of the resource and services offered by the libraries, and 33, that is also a big amount, is not sure about what services they are getting from the libraries. The preferences of library resources were found that majority of them preferred both print and e-resources, whereas 22.2% prefer only print resources. When it comes to how they access the e-resources, so majority of them prefer to access them anywhere from the campus. It is not mandatory for them to go to the library. And the level of satisfaction was found that 59.7% were only partially satisfied and 22% were fully satisfied. The library services, the research scholars were aware of reference services, opaque email-based services, and circulation services. And the problem faced while dealing with these resources and services is the lack of trained staff, lack of infrastructure, insufficient collection, and space of reading hall. On the basis of these findings, it has been suggested that library should promote the effective utilization of information resources and services available with them, and should instruct the users on how to navigate them. Next is to they should enhance the marketing of the resources so that the users may come to know that what all is there in the library. And they that library should also go for updated softwares, automation, digitization, and also they should use e-security systems for they should use e-security system for giving better experience for the users. It is finally concluded that an active and up-to-date library brimming with relevant resources is fundamental for enhancing the efficacy and productivity of teaching, learning, and research within a university. Thank you. That's all from my side.
The next paper presenter is Dr. Shashi Rawat. Her topic is Users' Perception of E-Resources, a case study, Indian Council of World Affairs, Sapru House Library, New Delhi.
Good afternoon, everybody. My topic is User Perception of E-Resources, a case study of Indian Council of World Affairs, ICWA, Sapru House Library. ICWA is important platform for voicing view on the matter related to foreign policy and international affairs. Sapru House Library has made an important contribution toward this end. The objective of study to analyze e-resources available in Sapru House Library, to study attitude of user and library professional toward the use of e-resources in the library, analyze frequency of e-resources used by users to assess the user engagement and their attitude toward e-resources. E-resources library are providing e-resource facility to their users for higher education, research and development. Library user must adopt the technology awareness. ICW Sapro House Library. 1943, ICW established by a group of Indian intellectuals. 1955, Sapro House building inaugurated by first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. 2023, new renovated Sapro House Library inaugurated by the Honorable Vice President of India. Sapro House Library is research library and popular for their special collection on IR, foreign policy, economic, culture, social science, and it is to fulfill the main objective of the council. Sapro House Library was introduced the 2009 Sapro House Library was introduced the RFID technology. Library is converted traditional to modern come automated library. Adopt and introduce various tool and techniques. Library have been accessed over internet 24/7. Various e-database, e-journals subscribed by the for user. Institution repository to fulfill the user requirement. Library have 1,50,000 documents on various online resource databases, various institution repository, 1 million digitized press clipping, India Quarterly in-house journal, digitized Hindu newspaper, digitized books and rare books, bond volume newspaper, depository section, United Nations and European Union. Various category of readers, researchers, senior bureaucrat, diplomat, academician, UPS, aspirant, students, staff, general public. Methodology and sampling data. Design question prepared for data collection under the defined parameter. 130 questionnaires were distributed among the 4 category of user. ICW staff, researcher, library staff, readers. 127 field questionnaires were received back. Analyze the data parameter survey. Study divided into 14 parameters. Conclusion, library e-resources satisfy user information need. The survey evaluation, 83% user using e-journals, 82% e-newspaper and MA resources, 79 websites, 77 e-book and 70% user using databases. On the demand of the user, education system adopt the new innovation technology for fulfilling the user requirement. The survey clearly indicate that ICW Sapro House Library has ICT infrastructure and user has been using all ICT services. Some improvement in the field of e-resources and services is required. Based on the survey, it is observed that e-resource information services provided by ICW Sapro House Library is most popular and widely used by the all category of user within and beyond the boundaries. Recommendation, resource sharing and collaboration among the think tank, institution and user community to increase footfall at the specialized library, to increase communication between user and library and high quality internet bandwidth. Thank you.
The next, that is the sixth paper presenter, is Dr. Faisal Nisha, Technical Officer B, Defense Scientific Information and Documentation Center, Dessai. Her topic is on open access and Creative Commons license in research publication, mapping the Indian open access journals.
Thank you, sir. So good afternoon to one and all. Myself, Faisal Nisha, working in Journal Publication Division, Dessai. So we are bringing out 3 journals, one in Librarian Information Science, one in the field of life sciences, and one is related to defense and allied sciences. So open access is a mechanism through which research outputs are transmitted online, free of cost and without any restriction. It allows free flow of information and e-resources on 24/7 basis. So the prevalent system for generating and disseminating public funded research results, it is quite expensive and it does not exploit the modes or models of open licensing. So in the absence of a smooth and free-flowing process of information, access to the scientific research will be reserved or limited to it will be limited to the institutions or organizations who are paying exorbitant or hefty prices on journal subscription annually. So to access and redistribute the open access content without licensing, Creative Commons organization, it has developed a prominent set of rules or licenses and permissions for sharing the content, which is called as this Creative Commons licenses. So the objectives of my study were to analyze the license of the content, and the main focus was on the Creative Commons licenses that has been used by open access publishers publishing journals from India, and to understand whether the respective journals, they are disclosing the copyright licenses while the authors are submitting their articles to their particular journals. So for this study, I have consulted Directory of Open Access Journal, and data was extracted from DOJ on 16 September 2023, and the details including journal's name, publisher, and the license used have been tabulated by visiting the journal's website. Also, the author guidelines, they were also verified to confirm the disclosure of copyright to the authors while submitting their articles to these journals. So in total, 341 journals have been reported on the date of study that have been published from India. So this is the snapshot that I took from Directory of Open Journals. So on that very particular day, 16 September 2023, DOJ indexed 19892 open access journals in 18 languages from 135 countries. So out of these 19,892 journals, 341 journals are published from India by 86 major publishers under Creative Commons licenses. And out of these 341 journals, majority of them, means 71% of the journals are published under Creative Commons attribution non-commercial share-alike licenses. Then table 1, it represents the license practices of Indian open access journals in Directory of Open Access Journals. So as I have already told you that the most prevalent license type was Creative Commons attribution non-commercial share-alike license that indicates a strong emphasis on open access with restriction on commercial use and derivative works. So table 2, it shows the growth of Indian open access journals and Creative Commons licenses. So the largest number of journals, they started publishing their entire content using open license in 2016 and 2013 with 35 journals each. This was followed by the years 2012 and 14 with 31 journals respectively. So table 3, it provides the availability of Indian open access publishers in DOJ. So 2 commercial publishers, the first one is the Walter Kluwer Madno Publications and Thyme Medical and Scientific Publishers. They provided a cumulative percentage that is 68.6 altogether. So I'm going to conclude my presentation. This I have already told that Walter Kluwer Madno Publication stands out as the dominant publisher that is responsible for 65.7% of the journals in the Directory of Open Access Journals database among Indian publishers. Then Creative Commons attribution, non-commercial share alike emerges as the most prevalent licensing choice, representing 71.6% of the publication. And this gradual increase in journals adopting open licenses over the years, it suggests a positive trend towards making research more accessible to a wider audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nisha. The last paper presenter for this session before going for a product demonstrations is Dr. Nirupama Chadda. National Repository, the topic is Shodh Ganga National Repository for Thesis Data, what, why and how.
So now I'll start my presentation. As we all say that the research should not be made available in the public domain, but now that it has been made mandatory by the government to provide it on the public domain. I don't need this now, but why it is compelling us? It is compelling us because the knowledge is generating and the innovation that is coming day by day, it is compelling all the educational institutions to move one step ahead. Do you think? Am I right? The purpose is to provide the visibility of that research and क्या हमें करना चाहिए सेल्फ आर्काइव और वी हैव टू टेक द सोर्सेज कि हमें आउटसोर्स करना चाहिए. Okay, this depends upon the objective of my study is to provide the insight to other countries about the National Repository for Thesis, that is Shodh Ganga, developed in India, its importance and how they contribute to an international knowledge base. Methodology, I have gone through the Shodh Ganga site and extract the data from it and try to limit it to the northwestern region. And you can see by this graph that the growth rate of the Shodh Ganga from 2010 to 2021. Initially, during its inception, it is really very small. And in the year 2021, it gradually started. And 732 universities has participated and 840 MOUs has been signed till date, till 16th September 2023. And among the oldest one among them who has joined is Jawaharlal Nehru University in the year 2010. With one university it was started, and afterwards Punjabi University and Chhatrapati University and Kurukshetra University joined in the year 2011. And the latest one is Buddha University. And the top 10 contributing universities in India are the Anna University, University of Madras, Calcutta, and the Punjab University at the 9th level. And the top 3 regions, northwestern universities are Chhatrapati Sahu Maharaja University, Aligarh Muslim University, and the Punjab University. The thesis added during 2022 to 2023. You can see in April 2022, it was just 6074, and in January 2023, it was 20,369. And the top 20 universities, the top 20 subject-wise theses that are engineering, chemistry, and physics. The languages in which the thesis has been uploaded are Hindi, English, and Sanskrit. And this table represents about the university-wise languages uploaded. कैसे हुई है, कितनी में है. Shodh Gangotri में, nobody, I think only 12,000 theses has been, synopsis has been uploaded. Not more than 12,000. Because it is not mandatory till date. And these are my findings, which I have told you. Thank you.
We are winding up this particular session. The floor is hand over to Madam Dr. Sangeeta Kaul for further proceedings.
So what steps you are going to take to get that 65% in the mainstream to use those digital resources?
सर वो तो इंक्लूडेड वो यूजर्स स्टूडेंट्स एंड फैकल्टी.
मेरा क्वेश्चन क्या है कि आपने बोला कि 35% फैकल्टी वो सब कुछ यूज करते हैं,
Yes.
65% यूज नहीं करते हैं. तो 65% यूज करने के लिए आप क्या स्ट्रेटेजी?
ये अवेयरनेस करना, आईसीटी बेस्ड टेक्निक्स एंड आईसीटी बेस्ड टेक्निक्स ओरिएंटेशन, लाइक वो दोस मेथड्स अप्लाई करना चाहिए.
Anyone else?
Any other question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Goswami.
This is a question to Dr. Rama Patnaik. Very excellent presentation, a very elaborate presentation. I just want to ask you, you told us that administrative map data of Census of India, isn't it? You were talking about that. So I want to know, is it the raw data taken from the census website or census authority, that is Registrar General of India, or it is a repackaged information taken from, some agency?
So you are aware that this is from census office only, registrar's office. So whenever census happens, 2011, we get a report. Subsequently, that improvises with mapping of district, our lines and all that. So when you talk about CEB block census data, so you want to know specifically which of these districts have population less than 50,000. It is a repackaged kind of thing. Which of the blocks are having more than 3 lakh population? So we wanted to know district wise what is the population strength of, the population count, especially in a specific district below 3,000, below 50,000, then 3 lakh to 10 lakhs, like that. So that information is maintained by registrar's office, census office, and there's, I think, by name, one person by name Dr. Sandeep Rai. He actually is responsible for that data. So that is not through a third party, that is through census office. We paid about 17 lakhs for entire data. I think all 30 lakhs for the entire data of the CB, I think census enumeration block data.
So they are selling data to you?
Yes.
Census office?
Yes. So it is, I think most of the, including the polling data, which is supposed to be with Election Commission, they have given it to indiastat.com. Why the government is selling is to incur, to meet the cost of collecting the data. That is what we got an answer from census office. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Last question. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am, like you said, yet you are subscribing to such a huge e-content. So my question is, how do you track that you are getting uninterrupted access of all this e-content? Like at Punjab University, we are just accessing to almost 350 or 400 online journals, or you can say 20 to 22 databases. So many a times we have found that these publishers, they stop the access. And it is on regular checking of all these journals. So like you said, you are subscribing to 2,200 journals or something.
22,000 journals.
So how do you keep track of that?
See, it's very difficult, but what we do whenever we get the KBAR data or the mark data, we do a URL checking. Like for instance, even one digit is missing in the link, you will not get. So when we come to know that some journal is not accessible, it's because of downloads. So huge downloads, that is when I get an email that so-and-so journal is, blocked for such particular MAC ID.
But otherwise,
otherwise no. And we always, in our license agreement, we always tell them that you have to give the downtime time. And that is why when we do the reevaluation, we will find out that when they have not informed us for any downtime data. So that if you have a librarian ID administered, in that journal package platform, you have to set up the alerts for downtime also. So whenever a specific journal is not accessible, you will get an alert to your email.
Okay, thank you. I'll discuss the rest of the things at lunch. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, Dr. Patnaik, I would just like to mention that easily one can make even a program, the way we do it for our online websites also. If any link is not working, it's a dead link. So similarly, in a cron tab, we can create such kind of a file which triggers up, in the fag end of a day, let's say at 6 o'clock, that you will just go through all those websites and see if any of the website is inaccessible. It's not like, when a user comes and puts in a complaint to us. So whosoever is in charge of that e-journal subscription would be notified just at the, within. So this would be like a lag of maybe a few hours time. Within a 24 hours time, you're notified if a link is not there. So and this can easily be done. It's just like checking the way we check it ourselves. If any of the link and the sublinks are not working, you create that and the system generates. It's an AI tools are definitely in place which can help.
So I think I've been subscribing all journals, e-journals since 2011. There was never an incident, but there were about 10 to 14 incidents where these huge downloads happened and then they block it. That is why we get an alert and we know. And keeping track of 22,000 journals, of course, I think is not possible.
But yes, through
His job, what I
programming.
think
Yes,
Dr.
yeah,
Sandesh
yes,
says.
yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Sandesh, for chairing the session. A big applause, to the chair, to the keynote speaker, Dr. Patnaik, and all our, contributors, the paper contributors, and each one of you who have really participated in such a great manner in this session. And we are towards a closure of the technical session too. May I have a pleasure of requesting all the chair, the keynote speaker, all paper presenters, and also off the dais, the contributors of the papers, because of paucity of space, you have not been able to be there on the dais. May we request you to kindly join us on the dais, please. All the other contributors of the papers, please kindly join us. So on behalf of the organizers, we take immense pleasure in presenting a memento firstly to the keynote speaker, Dr. Rama Patnaik ji. Pleasure now in requesting Dr. B.R. Doraswamy Naik. Requesting Dr. M. Doraswamy. You have been off the dais. Yeah, Dr. Patnaik, please be here. Madam, please be here. Yeah, you'll be there. It will be really nice. Thank you so much. Dr. M. Srinivasa Rao. Sorry, Dr. Kumaraswamy Reddy. Dr. M. Srinivasa Rao, is he here? Yeah. Dr. Narula Ravishankar Reddy, is he here? He's not, he's here? No. Dr. Pooja? Yeah, please. Ruchi Chaurasya. This is for Rohit Kushwaha. Ankita Jana. Abhinay Shruti. Abhinay is here, yes. Dr. Shashi Rawat. Dr. Fazil Nisha. Dr. Nirupama. Dr. Neeru Bhatia. This is for Neeru Gupta. We are now moving towards the last session, not of the day, but last session, last pre-lunch session, requesting Mr. Yogesh Zope, the Commercial Manager, South Asia, from ECUCOMS to be here on the dais. We take immense pleasure in welcoming you, Mr. Yogesh Zope, who has come to let you all know about ECUCOMS and also to the vast range of products that they are offering to the LIS fraternity. It's a pleasure to welcome you on behalf of NACLIN 2023, on behalf of Delnet and Goa University. Also requesting Mr. Pratap Das. Pratap, I hope you are here. Pratap, you're here. Yeah, perfect. That's it. So I request you, Yogesh.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And I know that it's a difficult time to stay back. But however, I'll try to complete the presentation. And I'm Yogesh, and I'm representing ECUCOMS for South Asia as a commercial manager and taking care of the operations and the publisher representations. Now, ECUCOMS is like a company which was started in 2004. And specifically, our strength is helping and representing the society and the press publications. Yeah, ECUCOMS currently have the various society and the press publications in different subject area, from science, technology to humanities to agriculture and medical sections. And currently we are representing around 24 plus publishers in India. South Asia, which are exclusive to us. I'll run to the other products. Now we have American College of Physicians, which is one of the key titles when it comes to the internal medicine from the medical section. And it was currently the impact factor for this journal is more than 25. We have the other important medical publication, which is American Medical Association, which is have the super specialty 11 titles of JAMA titles, which comes under the JAMA networks. Now this Bio One is one of the recent publication which we have added in last year. And this publication is mostly focused on agriculture, veterinary sciences, life sciences, and some part of biotechnology as well. So this publication is a platform which provides all the smaller titles to represent on their platform. We are representing the Marian Libet publication, which have more than 35 titles in their publication list. But however, I have highlighted few of them. These are around 3 new publications they have added in 2022 and 2023. There are more they are adding in 24, and recently they have added 3 more. So if I talk about precision in oncology, this is something where oncology is the topic where there are a lot of research is happening, but how the AI will going to help the physicians and the medical fraternity when it comes to taking help from the AI in oncology, I mean say the treatments. So it focuses on there. Dermatitis is one of it, the other one. And facial and the plastic surgery is one of the other titles they have added recently. So as I said, we have around 24 plus publishers representing. We are representing in South Asia. And these are some of them. Royal Society, which is the oldest publisher, if I say, in terms of when they started publishing more than 350 years back earlier. They have one publication they have put in the market. So they call themselves the oldest publications in the world. Then we have Health Affairs, Duke University Press. Again, in the aerospace, which is a very important area of development in India. Recently, in last few years, we are looking forward to many new heights been taken care by the Indian government and the aerospace department. AIAA Aerospace is one of the key titles they have. We have other publications, annual reviews, Geoscience World. Specifically, if I talk about Geoscience World, they are actually an geological society into the earth sciences space and the geological space. So SPI, again, SPI is a very niche publisher, if I can say, in terms of their content has been highly regarded when it comes to the research in optics and photonics and biomedical as well. We have University of Chicago Press, Neurosurgical Atlas. Now, Neurosurgical Atlas, everything's when we talk about the neurosurgery or neurosciences, it is the topic where everything starts probably from what's happening around with the human thought process. So, Neurosurgical Atlas gets in depth into the details of all the information in neurosurgery. So, this is something which is not about the journal. This is a database or a collection of the latest videos and latest information, what's happening, and with the latest doctors explaining about the neurosurgical cases around the globe happening. And this has been, the product has been developed by Dr. Cohen. So Dr. Cohen is the Nobel Prize winner in neurosurgery. So yeah, I'm ending with my presentation. So thank you so much. And the other things, if you can see on the screen, is from the various, because AccuComms represent in not only in India, but we have represented across the globe. So thank you from everyone from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yogesh. It's a pleasure for me now to invite Mr. Pratap Das, a long-time professional associate, a wonderful, wonderful colleague. Always we are in great admiration and appreciation, not only of ProQuest, which is now a part of Clarivate, but yes, indeed, for Mr. Pratap Das, who is always, always there, as a great supporter for Delnet, and also for ensuring that that the library professionals gets more acquainted with the quality resources, and it's always a great pleasure to have you with us, especially at NACLIN 2023 platforms. And we cannot really think about NACLINs to get completed without the presence of you around, Pratap, and we truly appreciate that. And also a long-time association that Delnet has with ProQuest, and it's undoubtedly that Pratap has been playing a great role in ensuring that we continue, this partnership with ProQuest in a very determined and in a very, very cooperative manner. Thank you so much, very much, Pratap, and pleasure in requesting you to kindly let all of us know what you have in store. Some new exciting things happening at ProQuest, and I don't want to stand between, everyone and you. So it's over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaskar, everyone. My name is Pratap. I'm the Director Sales for ProQuest, part of Clarivate now. Just before this session, I went to the NACLIN Delnet website, and I saw a figure there, 30. It represented that Delnet has completed 30 years, a great achievement. And when I went back to my time when I met Dr. Kaul and Dr. Sangeeta Kaul first time in Delhi. It was the year 2000. I was just a budding account manager. I was trying to understand how to sell databases, how to promote e-resources to libraries. And during the first tea break, I remember Dr. Kaul told me, gave me some tips, and that helped me, how I progressed in my career. And from there, the association started. So if Delnet says 30 years, I can say comfortably 23 years of my association with Delnet, with Dr. Kaul and Dr. Sangeeta Kaul. So thank you for the opportunity. Today, I'm here, take about 5-6 minutes. I know lunch is ready. What we would like to do is how, as an organization, we are helping many libraries, many partner libraries, member libraries of Delnet, by virtue of subscription to quality journals, quality databases. And here, as you know, before I start, I would like to make a quick announcement. I know most of you are aware that ProQuest is now a part of Clarivate. Last year, we did many campaigns to create the awareness among the segment that now we are a bigger company. We offer many products that are relevant for you, for your research, and for your patrons. And why is it important? Because we are seeing that you are facing complex issues with budget. You want to work with a single partner. You want to have multiple source types from one single partner. So all that this merger has helped. And today, with over 350 plus products, we are more than ready to serve the information requirements of your researchers, faculty, and students. There's another important announcement that we started doing. I mean, we started communicating this to the market 3 months back. Our partnership with a new partner called AI21 Labs. Now, this is again a strategy that we realized it's important for each one of us in the room and in the auditorium. Generative AI is going to be with us. It'll stay with us. It'll evolve. And with this partnership, what we have done is, large data sets, be it like ebooks, dissertations, journal data sets, all that will now have some flavor of generative AI. Work is in the background, work is in progress in the background, and you will start seeing some changes. If you're a Clarivate or a ProQuest customer in terms of resources, you will see how the results are now appearing. It will not be a simple search and retrieve mechanism. It will be more conversational search. Users will have more conversations with the search, systems, and that is what we feel is very relevant. So this is an announcement that we would like to make, and no better platform than NACLIN 2023 for us. What we do, about 99% of the world's top universities use us, which is we are grateful to, most of you in the room who are, subscribing, and we also have others who are in the pipeline. And the combined combination is allowing us having access to about 26,000 libraries in 145 plus countries. So, that's a huge, responsibility on us to constantly, listen to your feedback and make sure that we are meeting your expectations in terms of products and services that we offer. We have three, we would like to categorize in three different areas how we are helping. We are helping in the research, evaluation, and management space. We are also helping in research training and learning space, as well as, library workflow. So each of this segment will have more details, and because of paucity of time, I'm not touching them. But, we are here. We would like to, take you through whenever, you have time during breaks, and we can take you through how each segment and how we are operating in each space. In terms of the numbers, you see data, content, technology, and the expertise in terms of how we are offering. With some of the products that will come up now, including Web of Science, you have over 2.3 billion citation linking network that is available, about $110 billion funding opportunities that is available for users to explore. We also have about 9,000 content service providers, about 3 million ebooks that is available, and close to 600 years of digitized primary source material. There was, in the technical session 1, there was a feedback that it is difficult to get newspapers from yesterday or from last year. We have digitized over 600 years of content of primary source, including Times of India, which is a newspaper. I'm very happy to also have Punjab University here, which is a privileged customer of, esteemed customer of Times of India. And then you can see many other products. So I'll quickly now move, which will give you an idea. Now, each slide will take about 3 seconds. Again, my job is not to talk about the products in detail, but certainly I would like to introduce these products so that you can remember or maybe make a note and ask us how we can help you with these collections. This is our first product that we would like to highlight. Some of Goa universities are customer of Web of Science through ESS, but if you would like to consider this as a subscription at your institutional level, please let us know. The world's most authoritative database in terms of citation analytics, and very popular resource in the country, the first ever that was introduced for the researchers. And this is continuously evolving, and one of the most popular resource that we offer to the library segment, which is Web of Science core collection. If you are a Web of Science customer with only 3 indices, we are upgrading you to Web of Science core collection, which will have 3 more indices, which will make the collection complete. So that is Web of Science core collection. We also have insights, benchmarking, and analytics, very important resource. This will work wonderfully well with Web of Science core collection. It gives you, it helps you with, ranking. It helps you retain the top talent and things like that. We also, our flagship journal citation reports also come, that comes at a subscription, and they are available now with Clarivate. So the new 2023 JCR reports were also out last month or a couple of months back. If you are an EndNote customer in the room, in the auditorium, please note that EndNote 21 is available. At a very nominal cost, we are upgrading you to EndNote 21. It has more features. The features include you can organize, you can stay organized with your tags, you can cite while you write in Google Docs, and you can experience a new interface. So that is possible in EndNote 21. Now I move to the ProQuest suite of products. Academic Complete, which is the world's largest collection of ebooks. This is something that we would like to highlight, and at some point of time, there will be an offering through Delnet also, because we know that there is need for ebooks now. So Academic Complete is one such collection. Over 230,000 odd books are available. One thing that I would like to highlight is 37,000 ebooks now are DRM free in Academic Complete. On the right side, we know the importance. Last 3 years gave us a lot of input. There is now a immediate demand for textbooks among the academic users. So O'Reilly for Higher Education is the most authoritative collection for textbooks. This is purely textbooks. If you would like to have access to textbooks, O'Reilly for Higher Education would be the right product. We also are very strong in health. We work with many state governments in India for their consortium, medical consortium, and we've also worked with medical colleges individually or directly. So if you represent a medical library, please let us know. We'll be very happy to work with you. ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global, there is a small slice of this product in the Delnet collection. When we started discussions about a decade back, Dr. Sangeeta felt that let the users also be aware of dissertations. So we've taken out some collection of dissertations. We added in the Delnet collection, a smaller collection. But if you are ready to look at a bigger collection, then we have ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global. This is the world's largest repository, and it is also the official repository of Library of Congress. And there was a mention of Shodh Ganga in the past. We also had a unit which was digitizing theses in the universities pre-COVID. Because of COVID, we have stopped that unit. 60% of the theses that are available in Shodh Ganga are digitized by ProQuest, 60% plus. So you could imagine we went to universities like Punjab University, we went to many other universities. Our team were there, placed, stationed for 1-2 months, digitized and uploaded content in Shodh Ganga. So that unit is not open at this point of time, but we are getting a lot of requests. First quarter of next year, we'll come back to you if that unit can restart. There's a lot of manpower required there. There was a lot of talk, Dr. Rama Patnaik also mentioned about Summon Discovery. Summon is another important web scale discovery tool. There are many available in the market, depending on the merits that your library gets from this product. And also, the cost factor, we highly recommend that you give us a chance for Summon. And we also work nicely with authentication tools like remote access and all. That is very much possible with these products. Historical newspapers, I talked about Times of India, which is available from 1838 to 2010. And we have just launched Hindustan Times. This is from 1924 to 2010. So every single newspaper, every single article we have digitized, and you can search by author, you can search by a title. Everything is possible through the Hindustan Times. These are just 2 newspapers from India, but there are over 200 newspapers around the world, including The Guardian, Observer, Washington Post. So if you feel that your library is interested to access some of the historical content, and there's a lot of surveys now that are being conducted, and they said that clearly you have to go back when it comes to arts and humanities, social sciences. So these products will clearly help you. Last 2 slides. ProQuest One Psychology is a new product. This is a product which is offering, this is good offering for medical colleges, counseling, psychiatry, and we felt the need because last 2-3 years we all had issues, mental issues, mental stress. So this is one product that we've introduced, and it covers everything in one product. Again, journals, magazines, ebooks, and dissertations. One Academic is a multidisciplinary product. It is relevant for universities It is relevant for colleges that would like to have access to multiple source type in one single platform. ProQuest One Business is meant for business schools. If you are a school of management studies, if you're a department attached to a university, or if you're a business school standalone, this product is relevant, and we have over 300 business schools in India using this particular resource. We have multiple offers. What we request is you please visit us. We are in the Spacious Book House stall with a team of Spacious there. So at any point of time, if you would like to access any of our offers, please let us know. We'll be happy to take them forward. And then there is also a limited exclusive offer. This is very exclusive to ProQuest. This is a global exclusive offer. Not even the publisher can offer this, and there's no other agent also who can offer this. So it's American Mathematical Society. If you are a part of a department where mathematics and other areas, AI, cryptology, cybersecurity, all this becomes a part, then we have a exclusive offer that is available right till December 23rd. So please make sure that you avail this discount that is being offered by the society. Yeah, so with that, I would like to thank the authorities. One last feedback that I would like to make is, I was talking to Dr. Sangeeta also during the break. Any Delnet customer, please make sure that you continue the renewal on a regular basis. We have seen some trends. I was having some conversations also. Some of the years institutions get it, and for after 1 or 2 years they discontinue. That's not a happy trend, not a good trend. So we would like that to be continued. We have worked on a package that is very suitable for your budgets, suitable for your requirements. So we would like you to continue, and rest assured we will be adding more content source types. We just started with journals, ebooks, dissertations, but as things are evolving, you will see many more source types in the collection. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pratap. And from this presentation, I could notice not many takeaways for us at Delnet, because we may like to really explore working on some of the new products which have been launched. And in the days to come, we really would like to offer them to our member institutions. And regarding the renewals, as all of us knows, pricing remains one of the issue. And yes, institutions also at their own levels are really encountering issues. Post-COVID, the scenario has indeed been quite challenging even for the institutions. But yes, we have been able to, and we must thank you for that, because we are able to keep the pricing low and the quality high, and that's what the institutions are wanting. And the more wider we make the base, the more better it would be for everything. So more subscriptions to come, and we really take this opportunity to thank all those of the member institutions who are subscribing to Delnet ProQuest products, and we really look forward to introducing many more in the coming days. I think that's the major recommendation and takeaway for Delnet from this, especially from this presentation of ours, because I could notice many of the newer things that you have introduced, and we may really like to work post NACLIN. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please give Pratap a very big hand in being there with us, and also to Mr. Yogesh Zope, who have really introduced us to some of the new emerging products. Thank you very much, Pratap. Thank you. With this, we close the pre-lunch sessions, yeah? And it's a time now to break